Oh, a boring fight. My bad. Never been in a fight in a bar, and I don't think I've boring fight either. Yeah, I think there's always something exciting about it. Um, and I always try to bring it, always try to give my best and try to finish people. And I think that, takes people out of their game and stuff. But even if, it doesn't necessarily go how I want it to go, I think it still ends up being exciting for everybody watching.
Yeah. Just wanted to ask because, like, going back looking at your career, they all look like bangers to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to throw down.
Yeah. Taking it back a bit, if you don't mind me asking, how did you get started in the sport?
I played high school football, was pretty successful in football. Was gonna go play college. I wanted to go play college, but then I found MMA my junior year of high school and started watching it on TV, and then kind of fell in love with the sport and wanted to learn more and more and wanted to do that. So I started little underground. Me and my brothers started training with whatever we can find, videos, and just practicing, and then started a little underground fight club with some MMA gloves that we bought online, and just started matching people up from school and stuff like that, and fighting our and
So you
doing it
started
like
out
that.
you started out being a matchmaker first, then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, fighter all in one, and then yeah, just after high school, I didn't want to go play football anymore, and so I turned down my scholarships and everything, and then decided to pursue MMA. And uh, actually, I ended up looking for a gym. Didn't really get into one for a while, and found a small gym in Minnesota where I happened to be living at the time. And it was called the Stomp Factory. Just a couple local fighter guys who were tough and gritty, and started training with them. And 6 months later, had my first and only amateur fight.
Yeah. Were people telling you a daft back then for turning down a scholarship to train MMA instead?
Yeah, my parents were pretty upset at first.
Yeah.
They were just like, you're getting full rides and everything. You can go and whatever. And I was just like, I just don't love it anymore, and I want to, pursue something that I love rather than do something I don't love to do.
What was it that you liked about MMA that you weren't getting from football?
I don't know, honestly. I always wanted to box growing
Other
up.
than head kicks and choking people out.
Yeah. 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 I guess this was just a pure like one-on-one competition of just like, sheer like you're literally fighting. It's like just the purest thing, and you got to see who's going to be the best person that night. You can match that person, you can match up with a person multiple times, and it could be different multiple times, the way it finishes, the way who wins, whatever. uh, but you only get one shot most of the time, and it happens on one night. So that really excited me. I like competition, and it just really drove me, and I fell in love with it, of just like, okay, we're going to find out who the better man is right now, and kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Obviously, not being a team sport, do you like being in there and having sort of all the responsibility rest on your shoulders?
Oh yeah, I don't mind it. And as much as it's not a team sport, like when you're in there, but it kind of is still like all the background, all behind you and leading up to the fight is all your team. You couldn't get prepared and do at the best of your ability and learn from, yourself, really. If you have a solid team behind you and everything, and people that support you, it's definitely a team sport for sure. And even into the cage, I'm the one in there having to execute and do it all, and it's all on me. But it's also my corners are helping me. During rounds, in between rounds, they're getting my mind right. They're telling me the openings they see. As much as it is a single man to man or woman to woman sport, uh, there's a team actually behind it too.
How much trust do you have in that team around you?
Oh, I've so much trust, man. I trust them with everything. They do so much for me, and especially my coach Jeff Jimmo. He's done so much for me in my career, and just the short amount of time that I've been with him, and from injuries to changing my training to being able to help me still be fighting. So, and my training partners, man, they pushed me to the limits, helping me improve constantly. And I really trust them, and we're gonna go out there and get this win.
Yeah. Can you remember what your reaction was like when you first got the offer to come and fight for the UFC?
Yes, actually. So I was on like a 7-fight win streak at the time, and I think all of them were finishes besides one. And I was kind of waiting on the call. Like they said, oh, you can get something short notice. They're going to call you. Just be ready, keep fighting. And I happened to take a short notice fight.
You were expecting it then?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, I mean, I guess you expect it because you're on a streak and your name's out there and you're putting people away. But at the same time, it's like, I guess I wasn't expecting like nothing's a guarantee. So it was like, I would think I would get a short notice call. There was a possibility, but can't count on anything. Just got to keep winning. So I ended up taking a short notice fight for a buddy that fell out. It was actually my first fight at 155 outside of the UFC. Went in there, finished the guy in the first round. And then shortly after that, I got an offer for 155 short notice in the UFC against Joe Ellenberger. And man, it was just a moment that we've been waiting for so long. All the sacrifice and everything my wife and I and our kids put into all the work and time away and stuff. It just made it worth it. And it was really a dream come true. There was some roller coaster rides in the beginning and filling out some paperwork and things like that, and just some up and down moments of like unsurety and of it really happening and everything. But it all came together how it was supposed to, and man, I'm just blessed.
Yeah. What would you say has been some of the biggest highlights in your UFC career since then? Maybe some ones people maybe aren't expecting.
I mean, for sure, I think one people weren't expecting was the Sage Northcutt fight. I think everybody was losing, so I think that was a big surprise for most people. And then after that fight, the Warley Alves fight was another big surprise for people, because I think they realized right then that I'm a real fighter and that I come and can win and be a problem. So but then there was the Vicente Luque fight. I think that left a mark on the MMA world. That fight was just,
that was a cracking fight, that like.
Yeah. I think I feel like that was like one of those Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner kind of fights. Like, fans, we made some fans that night of the sport. And so, I think no one ever forgets that one. But
it felt like you could see him sort of look like Vicente was really giving it his all in the first round. And when it just like weren't enough to put you away, second round, he looked a bit like, oh, no, now what?
Yeah. I mean, and this, the same thing for me too, is like, I was hitting him with, everything I could. And, he wasn't going away. Much respect to him. He's a dog for sure. He's a tough guy and just a great person too, outside of the cage. Nothing but respect for him. So it's an honor to fight him, and maybe we'll do it one day. He's doing great things right now, obviously close to it. Good for him. But yeah, and then I guess the other big thing was returning from almost a near-death experience and returning to be able to step back in the octagon. So definitely some great things.
Yeah. That are you referring to the surgery you had? Was it the end of last year?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It just
I think I heard you say was it a ruptured artery, I think you said?
Yeah, I ruptured 2 arteries in my abdomen. Yeah. And was bleeding out internally. And luckily made it to hospital in time without knowing or anything. Just had to get an ambulance. Almost had trouble on the road while I was driving home, and had issues. Then called an ambulance and was able to get to the hospital. And luckily I made it in time. They said with 2 minutes longer and I wouldn't be here. And luckily I made it to the hospital. And the hospital that I did was a trauma hospital. So they said if it wasn't a trauma hospital, I would have had to been life flighted and it would have been a lot more risk. So, I mean, just the way things lined up and being able to get to the hospital and everything, not really knowing what was going on.
Did you say it happened whilst you were driving?
Yeah. It happened when I was driving. Actually, it was my stomach was in a lot of pain, and I happened to be on the phone with my wife, and all of a sudden I just started sweating all over and my body started tingling from head to toe. And then, my wife's telling me to pull over, and I was going to pull over, and my vision went out and I couldn't see. So then I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to swerve over to the side. And as soon as I feel the tires dip into the side bank, I'm going to hit on the brakes. And so I did. Luckily, there was no cars there or anything, and was able to stop and get to the side. And my wife hung up to call the ambulance. And, I was waiting for her to give me a call back. My vision came back and I ended up calling an ambulance and then pulling off the highway. And luckily there was an off ramp right there. So I pulled off the highway and the ambulance came, picked me up. And there's a whole a lot of detail as far as like, I was supposed to fight the next week. So I was in fight mode, man, already, not only just mentally, and I think that helped me fight for my life, because I was in that sense of, I was totally 100% thought I was going to fight still next week.
Yeah. Must have been scary stuff being driving, obviously by yourself as well, and having your vision go. And
yeah, it was a scary moment, and not really sure what was going on and trying to figure it out at the same time myself. And it was weird because the pain would like come and go and the symptoms would come and go. Like one minute I'd be feeling fine, and then the next minute my stomach would be hurting like crazy, and I'd be, falling out of the seat or whatever, vision going out and things like that. So it was just kind of off and on, and didn't really know what was going on. And so it was kind of like scary, but it was weird. Like I said, it was because I was supposed to fight next week. The only thing that kept going through my head was like, it's not going to be anything serious. I'll be fine. I'm going to fight next week. I just need to, whatever, get to the hospital. They're going to check me out. If it's something, whatever, we'll take care of it, but it's not going to be too serious. I'm going to fight next week. So
yeah,
that was just where my mindset was at, really. But crazy to think back on it.
Did you find out what caused it, like the ruptured arteries?
Yeah, so I kind of had an idea what happened, because I did my last round of sparring that day, and my first round, a buddy of mine hit a spinning back kick, and it was just like to the gut, and it wasn't out of the ordinary hard, not one of the hardest kicks I ever took or anything like that by far. Didn't knock me down, didn't knock the wind out of me, didn't stop the round. Literally just took the kick, fine, kept moving forward, finished that round, finished the next 2 rounds, had great rounds, was good to go. And then, honestly felt fine. And then once I hit the road, it was just like, my stomach kind of started hurting a little bit. And I was like, man, maybe that kick was a little stiffer than I thought, having some after effects from it. Maybe I'm just hungry. I didn't have a great breakfast that day. So I was like, oh, well, I got some food. And it seemed to kind of help. But then, as I drove and more longer and longer, it started getting worse and worse and worse. And then, just kind of like toughed it out, I guess. My wife was like, I'll come get you and you don't have to drive. You can just rest. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll get home and then, I'll rest the weekend and be ready to go for fight week. And then it was just like, boom, all of a sudden it was extremely pain. And then, the whole vision and everything tingling and sweating. And it just went from downhill from there, I guess.
Yeah. Sounds pretty cliche, but does it sort of change your perspective at all? Something like, like near death experience, like you were saying, something like that happening?
For sure. Especially the more time it's been, I don't think it really settled in until, actually getting back into camps and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it for sure, like when I got home, because I was in the hospital for a little bit. And then when I got home to my kids and everything like that, like that hit me really hard. And, leading up to that and then even fighting again and getting a fight and going back to training and having to make that drive back, back to camp and everything like that kind of really hit me hard. And it's definitely different. Like my emotions are different now through camp and everything. Like being away from my family is like that much worse than it was before, like almost unbearable. But it's what we got to do to get through this, to get to fights and train hard and get the work I need. And ultimately it's providing for them. So definitely brings a different outlook in life. But I'd say when it happened and everything in the moment, it didn't seem, almost like unrealistic. It hit me, a month later, that it was like, wow, how crazy that was. And everything kind of just sunk in.
Yeah. You were saying before about like some of the highlights of your career being the big wins that you've had. For those fights, preparing for them, do you get more pumped up when you know you're sort of the underdog coming into it? Do you like, you're more motivated to put them hours in the gym, knowing people are doubting you?
You know, it's always fun, you know, when you're the underdog and, you know, everybody's going against you and, you know, thinks you don't got what it takes. But I mean, it's no extra drive. I go in there and, you know, I try to work as hard as I can. Whether I'm the main, you know, the head guy or whatever, like set to beat the guy or, you know, set to lose, whatever, I got to work just as hard because, um, you know, either way, you have something to prove. And I feel like, you know, in a way, I always have something to prove, not to anybody, not to the fans, to the UFC, to anybody, but to myself. You know, I have to prove to myself that I'm going to be the best me possible, and not just, you know, go out there and, you know, put in a halfway show or a halfway effort. I want to be the absolute best I can be. So it's always about proving to myself that I can be better, and that's really what it's all about for me.
Yeah. So, I feel like some of the commentators are always bringing up for each of your fights is is your kids like painting nails before you go in?
Yeah.
Is it something they're always bringing up? Is it important to you how supportive your family are for each of your fights?
Absolutely. You know, my wife, my kids, you know, they're always very supportive of me, and, you know, they have to deal with me being, you know, traveling for camps and stuff like that as well, and training, and, you know, so they're super supportive, and I really try to add my kids into everything I do. So, you know, I want them to be a part of it. I want them to be part of the experience, not just by watching me or seeing me train, but I want them to have a little more in it. Like they're just, you know, they're not just, you know, watching, they're part of it. So my daughter paints my nails, you know, my kids pick my walkout song, you know, stuff like that. You know, we talk about hairstyles and, you know, music and everything leading into the fight, and what should it be, stuff like that. So I mean, I just try to implement my kids into everything I do because they're the biggest part of my life.
Yeah. Do they fully understand what you do? I'm not sure what sort of age they're at.
Yeah, they're, you know, they're 12, 10, and 8, and they definitely like understand it and everything. Obviously, I don't think they understand the in-depth details of what it takes, constant, you know, all the time, and you know, the amount of effort and everything. But you know, they understand that daddy is going to go fight, and, you know, we gotta get these wins, and, you know, if we win to get better. Definitely my boys are, you know, they're a little older, so they understand a little more. um but they just, you know, they really wait for the moment where the fight's over and I get to be home.
Yeah. What's what does a regular week sort of look like for you, and how do you sort of balance time at the gym between that family life and on the farm and stuff?
Yeah, you know, it's training is the, you know, in camp for sure, training is the focus. But I try to keep, you know, well balanced with my family, and my family being the focus. So when I'm gone for camp and stuff, I am doing, um, you know, phone calls, constantly calling them, FaceTimes. You know, we play games together through my phone while I'm away and stuff like that. Like we'll play, you know, I call them up when we're on a call and playing. Roblox is the game that we play most of the time. Is I've heard of it, but it's a little game. So we all jump on that and play together, me and my kids, and then you know, it's tough. My wife, honestly, is the real superstar. You know, she holds it all down, you know, while I'm away. The farm, the kids, everything. So I mean, she's the real superstar. She's doing it all while I'm, you know, out training and trying to put all my focus on this fight to make sure I'm the best and can bring home this win. So um yeah, it's hard. It's hard to balance it all. And when I come home and I'm home, you know, there's farm work to do, but also got a big importance on, you know, putting time, giving the time to my kids and giving them the time they need to be able to spend time with them, and before I have to leave again. So it's extremely hard, but a lot of things to do as well. But we make it happen, and I couldn't do it without my wife.
Yeah. How do you like to celebrate when you get that win?
Pizza,
Yeah.
pizza. Oh,
What's
whatever. Okay. Yeah, pizza for sure. I go right after the fight, pretty much tradition. Every fight we go back to the hotel room and we have pizza waiting and we celebrate with pizza. Win or lose, honestly. Win or lose, it's a celebration with pizza because I know, win or lose, I'm giving my all. I gave it my best. All the work, all the effort behind it, my family, the time away, everything was, all put into that moment. So it's a celebration with pizza every time.
What toppings do you get him?
Man, honestly, it depends. We get like a pepperoni.
Don't tell me ham pineapple.
No, but I do. Pineapple. I know it's not traditional, but it is good. I do agree, it is good. But no, normally I go with like a pepperoni, natural pepperoni. We have some of that, and then kind of a like a combination or supreme where it has a little bit of everything on there, and then yeah, that's probably it.
Controversial, but I like me a bit of barbecue base as well.
Barbecue base, okay, yeah. Always good.
Yeah,
I have a in Arizona who makes pizza pies, and there's like straight from Italy kind of pizzas. So that's my favorite spot. And usually after fights, I'll order some from him.
What's a pizza pie?
What's a pizza pie? It's a pizza, and then it's just called a pizza pie because it's just a round pizza. But it's from Italy. He makes it straight from like Naples, Italy, and it's phenomenal. He's in Phoenix. It's called La Piazza al Forno, and is my favorite pizza.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out right there. There you go, plug.
He's a bit too far for me to go to, but I'm sure some other people will.
Yeah, for sure. If you're ever in there, you gotta check it out. If you're ever in Arizona, check it out.
Your obviously upcoming fight, Matt Brown. What can people expect?
I think they can expect. Well, yeah, I think they can expect probably a barn burner. Easy to say, barn burner. Throw down dog fight, freaking bloodbath. Expect the works, fireworks, because it's going to be crazy. That's what I'm expecting.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, me as well. It's a dream matchup for me. Honestly, it's one I've always wanted. I super respect the guy, and he always brings it. He's always exciting. He always throws down and puts it all on the line. So I'm expecting him to, bring it again. And he better believe I'm going to bring it. And we're going to put on a show for everybody and, really get after each other.
Yeah. You don't seem like the sort of person to deal with nerves coming into a fight. Is that the case?
That is the case, actually. I don't really, do have many nerves or anything. It's actually kind of relaxing and peaceful for me. It's almost a relief. It is a relief stepping in the cage or in the octagon. And, when I step in there, it's some weight lifted off my shoulders. When I'm in camp and everything, it's not just about beating everybody up in the gym or, hurting anybody or anything like that. It's about getting better and improving each other rather than just myself. It's like I'm getting better. If my teammates are getting better, that means I'm getting better as well. And they can push me even farther. So, I never try to like put my teammates away or finish them with, strikes or anything like that. And so you're never going 100%. And I feel like there's almost a relief, the weight off the shoulders when I step in the octagon because, it's time to go. It's let Bam Bam loose. We get to go 100%. We get to let them fly. It's time to show everybody. So it's definitely exciting for me. And yeah, I don't really have nerves going into it.
You enjoy just letting go like that?
I do. Yeah, I do actually. Like I said, I like to test myself. I like the competition, and I want to fight the best there is. I want to fight anybody and everybody. Honestly, it doesn't, for me, it never mattered whose name was on the contract or who I was fighting, who they offered me or whatever. I was never picky about it, because I really want to fight everybody, and the reason for it is because I just want to go out there and test myself against everybody. I know everybody is a different puzzle. Everybody has different skills, different strengths. So And I know on any given night, it can go one way or the other. And for me, I want to test myself against everybody and see if I can get it to go my way every single time.
Yeah. Sorry. Starting the farm with your family. What's it like running that, and how did that sort of all begin?
Yeah, it's amazing, man. The farm is amazing. The life we're building, the life we've already built and continuing to grow is amazing. It's a different life, and honestly, it began, probably when I was little is where it stemmed from. My grandpa used to tell me about a farm he had in Colombia and everything, and I think that just kind of stuck with me as I got older. It's something I wanted more and more, and I was living in Phoenix at the time and was talking with my wife about it, and something we both started talking about, wanting more and more. And I kind of wanted like off grid, like, we're gonna have a well and like solar panels and no access to the grid or anything like that. So, she kind of reeled me in and like let's do, let's do something like that kind of, but not as intense. And we have kids and everything too, so it just made sense. And so we decided we wanted to get some land, we wanted to get a farm and kind of build a farm. And so we decided to move. I left Phoenix. I was training at the MMA lab out there, and decided to leave. I knew some people in Tennessee, Scott Holtzman, Luke Sanders, and then where I train now, Jim is in North Carolina. And so I know Jeff from there, the head coach. So I was like, and Ben and a gym in Shield Systems in Knoxville. So I was like, I could train with those guys. I've already trained with them before and everything. And, they know that how I train and everything, how they train. So we moved out to Tennessee and bought some property. And
when was this?
This was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Yeah. Moved out to Tennessee. We rented a place at first and then found the place we're at now. We just, was on our list to look at, and we looked at it and was like, this is it, and bought it. It was property. It has a house on it, and the perimeter of the property is fenced. And so we just moved in, started building the farm from scratch, fencing pastures, clearing fields, getting everything set up, getting animals, building chicken coops, kind of just learning as we go, doing all the research we can online about animals we want and everything. And luckily had great neighbors, and they've helped out a lot, with equipment, with showing us how to do things and the best way to do things. So it's been truly amazing. And this lifestyle that we've created and looking to grow even more is just exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah, it's fantastic that you've sort of found your own way of living, different to everyone else.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I've never been scared of work, and so I don't mind it. But it also doesn't feel like work to me. Like, it's so peaceful and relaxing, and I really enjoy just all of it. So it's not really work to me. It's really peaceful.
Yeah. No, sounds good, mate.
Yeah, the goal is to be as self-sufficient as possible too. Is like, produce our own meat, veggies, everything is that's the real goal, is to be as self-sufficient as possible.
How close are you to that at the minute?
Not as close as we want to be. Sure.
Yeah.
We've had some things set us back, and with COVID as well has been a factor, as far as like even meat issues and finding a butcher and everything. With cows, they need to hang for so long when you butcher them, and to bleed, and it just takes a process, and you have to have a cooler if you're doing it in hotter seasons and everything like that. So butchers are filled up, in Tennessee and stuff. So we have certain dates that we had to get into and everything now. So it just kind of switched some things around, and we're looking to change some things around the farm as well that are going to end up working better for us in the long run. And so it's just, like I said, we didn't know anything. So it's a learning experience as well, everything we do. So, now that we've, are 4 years in or whatever, it's like, okay, we want to change this, we want to change that. And, now that we know a little bit better, this will work better for us and everything like that. So, but we look to, correct those things and fix those things, and then build off of it and even expand more, get different other animals and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. No, that sounds fantastic, mate.
Truly is.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you coming on chatting to me. I've loved it.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me on, man. It's been a great time talking with you, and sorry, we had to delay a little bit, but yeah.
No worries. Yeah, I'm very excited for this fight with you and Matt Brown coming up.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Like I said, dream matchup, and I know it's going to be a total scrap, and I'm super excited.
Yeah. No, best of luck, mate. Appreciate you coming on.